Hey guys, Scrubber here, and we're back at it again with another Melty Blood type Lumina video. So yeah, a couple things have changed. First of all, got a new camera. So awesome. Yeah, I know a lot of people like the little camera thing on the bottom side. That will be also in some parts of the video, but you know, for some sections, this is gonna be some norms too. So happy about that. As you saw, I moved my space a little bit. You won't see my bed anymore in the background. I know some people pointed that out sometimes, but yeah, you won't see that anymore. And I just wanted to say before we start with this complete guide, which a lot of people have been waiting for, thank you so much for the support in 2022. We were able to break the 3,000 subscriber goal that I had set up. So we're starting the year, and I want to start the year strong. I will promise to be more consistent on my uploads. I have a lot of good ideas, things that I do want to make, and I think there's gonna be content that's gonna be multiplayer related as per usual, but doesn't necessarily have to target the competitive side, which is always what I've been focusing on. Very excited on the next video I'm working on. Some research on this, so bear with me. But without more delays, let's get started with the video.
Alright, yo, it's me, Hyde, and today we'll be covering the lightning hedgehog known as Roa. I was going to do the Roa cheat sheet, but Scott hit me up for the Roa guide, and I was pretty stoked to oblige, because it can help me cover more of the fumble-proof inner workings than I originally intended to. Alright, to start off, let's talk about what type of character is Roa. Roa's an impressive-ass all-rounder, which means he is very basic to learn, but his tools can be used in various ways for styles such as rushdown, set play, and zoning. Thanks to this, I would say his difficulty is Salaryman, where he's easy to learn, not hard to master. So don't be intimidated by this character, you can pick him up and go. And his notable players are me, Magic Rider, Lucy, Kiri, Trippy, Flamex, Y, and Trapcord, which are like all very good Roas to watch from and study under. Especially study under me, I'm kind of awesome. So what makes Roa so fumble? One thing people always notice when playing him or playing against him is Roa has a very good way of dominating screen presence. Roa can dominate neutral with tools such as 4BC, his 2-on-4 series, and can lead up to massive rewards like immense meter gain or massive damage, which can make his neutral and space control suffocating at times. He also has an amazing usage of meter. Roa can just dispense plus frames on demand due to 2-on-4C, which can make his pressure suffocating and like almost advantageous like all the time. Roa also has tools like 236C, which can be used to punch like careless zoning. His meter enders like 63C also gives him unseeable left-right mix-ups. Which is thanks to his versatile Okizeme, Roa has many incredible options for Okizeme, such as 236B Oki from low air throw enders, you know, left-right Sindori like mix-ups from his throw or 63C ender, and all-time safe jumps from his 3C, you know, like JCA air throw Oki or like JA, whatever you want to do. He also has above average damage. Roa can get immense damage from every starter he has, whether it be from his A-stars or his mid-range tools. He's always cranking 4K minimum, even from like non-optimal shit routing. His cons, his fuzzy mash options are pretty ass. Aside from his 2A, which can cause his like layer 1 defense feeling odd. Meter management is also really important, as many of his best tools cost meter, and without it he can lose and has to give up his turn and play more carefully.
So Hyde made a great point about the strengths of Roa in neutral, and this is the section when we go in depth about it. So yes, his neutral is pretty oppressive, but I have to cover my grounds here. We'll talk about the two ground normals you're most likely going to be using in neutral. These are 2B and 2C. 2C, amazing range, super active moving forward, can trip guard, is also one of his best starters. 2B, much safer, still low profiles, other things, moves in forward as you can see here already hit her. So when you dash in to start offense, you're most likely going to do 2B, or you want to do IID pressure, which will go in much more depth in the next chapter. Roa's air normals are actually pretty strong. We're gonna highlight two. These are the JA. As you can see, look at the angle of this. Really good when you want to start offense, when you want to catch someone trying to jump. Overall, a very good button. The other one that's really good strong is gonna be his JB. And his JB is amazing when you're below the opponent. Situations like this, when the opponent is above you, as you can see, you can literally get a combo straight up.
just from getting the JB and having good awareness on the hit. So yeah, his J and his JB are the most important air normals you want to be using and lead to massive rewards even. But let's stop stalling for time here. Let's talk about the real good stuff. You guys came to see this, right? You guys came to see the Needle 214A, which is a gigantic strike that is really used for counter poking, harassment. It does pretty much everything you want it to do at 12 frames startup. You can also use the B version, which is 3 frames lower, but covers a different angle, pretty good at calling out jump-ins, and keeping yourself safe in case your initial Needle whiffed. So the strengths about this, first of all, cancel on whiff. Second of all, EX cancels. Third of all, amazing rewards. This move does it all for Roa. Amazing is something you need to master and it's something you need to teach the opponent that they need to respect. However, the whiff cancel options are a little weaker at some angles because if the opponent manages to jump over to 1-4-B, the whatever follow-up you do is gonna be a little bit weaker, that you can't really call them out that well. So if you look at the angle of 2-1-4-C, for example, if you can go above it, then Zerator has a huge dead zone and he would have to spend Moondraft to keep himself safe. So be mindful of your needles. They are a strong tool, but one that you can't just throw out and expect to instantly win. You kind of have to use your brain here. One more note about Needle is that the B follow-up sometimes won't hit at max range, and this means sometimes even the C follow-up won't hit even after the B follow-up. So be mindful of the ranges. If you're a max range, I recommend using 236C instead of 214C if you want to confirm. Just something to have in your head, otherwise you're gonna be dropping combos, you're gonna be giving the opponent free shields, and you really don't want to do that. So just a heads up on that. Charge 214B is a tool that's usefulness varies depending on the matchup. It can be used to confirm after clutch situations, and mostly as a combo extension tool. However, you can also use it for some long range poking. This move, however, is really slow at 24 frames, which means that you can be hit out of it, so it's a situational tool. Something you kinda wanna mix in alongside your 214As and your 4BCs, which we'll cover next. However, I will say, this is pretty good at punishing people trying to jump in at you. You can actually guard break them for a full combo if they're not careful about it. Oh my god, you guys don't know how long it took me to get that take. Let's go. 4BC is an oppressive tool that keeps Roa a threat outside of its usual range, which is the mid-range. 4BC has an amazing hitbox which covers an outstanding majority of the screen and is very good at catching people trying to retreat, so people trying to backdash Needle will get punished. The reward he gets is no joke either. I want to say 4BC might be one of the highest skill ceiling moves in this game, just because the damage he gets is directly proportional to your knowledge of the character, the awareness on where on the screen you are and your opponent. Now let's talk about some of my favorite special moves in this game. Roa's 236A is a fast burst option that is special cancelable and it leads to many situations. It's very good when you need to get something started or you want a quick whiff punish tool. This is the tool that scares Bluff because if he misses an anti-air projectile, he can get punished for it straight up, which almost nobody in the game can do that, so it is a privilege that only Roa and a few other characters get, so abuse it. Now 6BC, that is the move that really puts the pain here. So you want to use it when you want a long range option. Remember, you can cancel these into 2-on-4C if you have meter to get a turn out of it. And On hit, well... Finally, 236C is a very good anti-zoning tool, and it's a little layered, so let's try to break it down. So, if the opponent has access to Moondrive, they will be able to save themselves if they miss a projectile and they react with 236C, which is a full screen move that will punish them. However, you can force the Moondrive out of them, and at that point they can miss another projectile. However, if they don't have access to Moondrive, they're playing a really dangerous game in which you are just one step away from starting your offense. So be very mindful about this. Roa can beat zoners pretty easily, forcing Moondrive out of them and then forcing your way into 236C. So in other guides, I have been pretty precise with the Blockstring theory, but I want to say Roa might be the first true old school Melty Blood pressure character. But at that I mean you have to master the art of the rebeat. The rebeat means selling minus frames like they are plus. Roa is amazing at this, and pretty much why he's one of the biggest threats in this game. So what you usually want to do in the case of Roa, like I brought up earlier, was maybe start with a 2B string. This has some implications. First of all, you keep both your A normals for rebeats. So for example here, or here. You basically wanna enforce a lot of frame traps to the opponent and situations where you can force a running. So be aware of your normals. That is something that you need to become very good at. Know which buttons you are using and which ones you already used, so that you don't run into situations where you get auto combo normal without wanting to, right? Because otherwise you will have to make a decision here. So Roa, for example, can do a basic block string into 214A, 214C to keep his turn, especially in the corner. But, you know, that is costly for the meter, and meter is pretty good for other things in Roa, especially damage, which we'll see in the combo section. So be very mindful about that. So your A normals are very precious to keep. And once your opponent starts respecting your frame traps, you want to enforce throw and throw baits. So for Roa, he has quite a bit of options. Most notably, his air dash is really good at baiting people trying to throw. So IDJ, BJC is pretty popular. Once you fight good opponents, you have another option here in the IDJ, which is a triple overhead. However, this move actually whiffs on crouchers. So that's what I say, this move only works on good players, because they're the ones who will block you high on the first two, and once you're a little lower, the third one will hit them crouching. You can also do JB with J2C and go for a throw here. So his pressure is really free form. I'm just giving you the foundations of some of the things you can implement in your game. So a mind game that a lot of Roa players do up close, 6C into 214B in 236B, which is really plus, but they can shield. But you can build a lot of mind games, you know, either I go for this, I don't go for this. You can keep them guessing. They kind of have to adjust to what you're doing, and once they're overthinking a lot, boom, throw. So be mindful about it. It is not easy, it is not set in stone. Like I said, this is very different from my other guides where I give you basic strings, how to use meter. With Roa, you kind of have to adjust, make frame traps, adjust to your opponent's tendencies. If they're crouch shielding a lot, maybe delay 5D here, delay 5C, or just 2B dash throw. You can call them out in a lot of ways, right? So just experiment a lot, watch a lot of footage on Roa if you're not too familiar with how to get started on the rebeat pressure or how to make the most out of it. But yeah, I totally recommend just watch the footage, play a lot in training mode, just put the opponent to mash, reversal action, and try to make frame traps. That's gonna beat them. That is very important. And if you manage to get that, you're gonna become really strong as Roa. A side note here, once you're in corner, you can leave the corner pretty much immediately if you have 1 bar by using 236A. So another privileges that Roa gets that not many characters get in this game, but yeah, in case that you fight your way out, you mash your way out, you can immediately switch sides and bam, now they're in the corner, so you can get started. Be very mindful about that, it is really important. Now this combo section is going to be really interesting. Roa is such a unique character, man. This character's combo theory is very, very, very dynamic. There are a lot of routes here. I want to thank Hyde especially for writing a lot of them when I was learning this character. And I want to shout out Magic Rider, who has an excellent Roa combo video. To get you started with the optimals, I'm going to link it in the description and I'm going to keep the reference here also. So this combo section is going to be a combination of Hyde's write-ups alongside Magic Riders, alongside other stuff I've discovered on my own. So it's going to be a lot to learn. Just grab whatever seems more comfortable to you and work with it. So Roa Okizeme is pretty interesting, and we're gonna go over the more complex setups in just a second. For now, let's cover our bases with our air throw ender, which is not the most popular thing. It's not the thing you're gonna be doing the most with Roa, but it's good to know what to do. So you can get a safe jump. The input is kind of weird. So after air throwing, delay a little bit, neutral jump into air dash with JA into a JB. The way I practice this in training mode is I put the dummy to match 5A as a reversal option, and if I'm meeting them, if it says counter hit, it means I'm doing it correctly. Low to the ground, you want to be ending things on air throw. This is going to mean that your upcoming 236B is going to be plus on block actually, because it will be hitting meaty. So a lot of situations can play out here. If the opponent can choose to shield, you can go for the feint into eradicating the life bar. They have to be very mindful about that. Now, a really grimy ender is 236A into the DP ender, EXDP. This can set up a 50-50, and we'll go over how this works. So there's no magic involved. If you can see, after doing the 6-3C, I am walking back a little bit and pressing far A. And you can see I'm making like a micro dash back, and that's enough to walk back for it to be at same side. However, if I do a 5A without holding back, I will be doing a cross up. It is as simple as that. Now that everyone knows this, this means that the mix-up is a little bit weaker, right? Because people can be looking for the micro walk back, and that's gonna dictate if it's the same side or not. And I will say, you're absolutely correct. So what if I put some ambiguity to it? The answer is walk back and forward. As simple as that. As soon as it seems, you can change what side you're gonna land depending on how much you walk forward or back. Play around with this one if you're fighting opponents that know how to block this type of mix-up. Trust me, it opens up people at any skill level. Very famously, Roa does get a 50-50 at her C's throw. So the magic on this one is how much you walk after the throw. If you walk 8 frames, you're staying same side. However, if you walk a little bit more, you're gonna cross up. It is as simple as that. This can be looped, especially once people know and start looking for how much you walk or not. You can start throwing them again, right? Because you can loop it again, you can go for IIDs at that point, and you can start your offense all over again. So just because they know the tell doesn't mean the mix-up is dead. Still pretty strong, absolutely go for it. In the corner, things spice up a little bit. So after air throw, in the corner, you can immediately jump and land with a 2A. And this low will beat Fuzzy Mash, which is a super strong defensive tool in this game. A lot of people Fuzzy Mash to beat IID pressure, to beat all sorts of things. Usually you're not supposed to be able to. Some characters can actually beat Fuzzy Mash after the air throws, Tono, and especially Roa. So absolutely, go for it every once in a while. People will have to respect you. Of course you get a couple safe jumps after air throw in the corner. We have a very classic one, which is going to be JC while we press JD on landing, or very all reliable hit stop OS. However, if you don't like OSing, you can be even simpler than this. What about just walking back? Yes, this does work. So you can walk back the hit activations, and this is really strong because one way to beat the OS I showed you is by backdashing. But because I am not inputting shield or anything, I could punish them if they try to backdash to punish my shield. So Raw doesn't even have to commit with a shield to punish hits. You can just walk back. So I personally go for it all the time. I really like it. So that about does it for this episode of Complete Guide. Thank you again to Hyde for the help and all the resources. Roa is a very special case for me because this is a character that I didn't know anything going into this episode, and if you saw recently, I got all the way to Grand Finals only playing as him. It's a character that I really got fond of, so amazing. This wouldn't have happened if not for the Complete Guide series, so it's not just helping you guys, it's helping me. So very happy about that. Sorry again for the delay on this episode. I know it's been a while, but the constant support on my other platforms, on my Twitter, my Twitch, where I stream pretty often, have been amazing. Thank you so much for it. I'll try to be more consistent with uploads. We're at 3.2 thousand subscribers, which is ridiculous. We're gonna go for 10,000. Yes, we're going for 10,000 this year. We're gonna make it. I promise I'll be more consistent with my uploads. Was handling IRL stuff, but thankfully that is all done. So I'll catch you all on my next video. Thank you so much.